Hello, my name is Scott Faust, and I am the lead faculty for this course. I am honored and privileged to be a part of your educational journey. First and foremost, congratulations on your decision to continue your education. Please take the opportunity to read the course welcome and background information that will give you some highlighted, detailed information that you will need in order to get going. I do want to call out that this class is entirely online, and as such, I will be holding a online meet and greet this coming Wednesday, January the 16th, from 7 to 8 p.m. in the evening. My goal is to use Adobe Connect, and I will send that link out. You also have that link available in the syllabus that we will go over momentarily. If your schedule does not allow you to attend, no worries. We can certainly meet at another time. Also, this video will cover everything that you need to know in order to be successful. Over the next 20 to 30 minutes, if it takes that long, maybe a little bit shorter, maybe a little longer, we will kind of go over the course highlights, the do's and don'ts, potential pitfalls, and things that I need you to know in order for you to be successful in this course. I believe in honest and open communication. Best way to reach me is email, um, and we can certainly meet via video feed and teleconference if necessary. I am down on the Rochester campus probably 6 or 7 times a semester, and the remaining times I teach from my home office in the Twin Cities. This is a first of a two-part course in advanced pathophysiology. This is essentially 5 classes, and I know that sounds scary, but 5 core science classes that we will work through in order to get you the foundation that you need for subsequent courses. A little bit about information about me. My name is Scott Faust. I live in the Twin Cities. I am celebrating my 20th year as a nurse this year and my 13th year as a nurse practitioner. I am an acute care nurse practitioner by training, having graduated from the emergency and trauma nurse practitioner program at Loyola University in Chicago. I work as a hospitalist at Regents Hospital. Prior to me being a nurse practitioner, I had 7 years working as a nurse in a high volume SICU and level 1 trauma, as well as doing flight. Needless to say, I've been around the block and I remember what it's like to be in a graduate nursing program. And in addition to my clinical responsibilities and my teaching responsibilities, I am also the co-director of the APC Fellowship Program in Hospital Medicine for Health Partners. Uh, I couldn't do anything without the support of my family, and my greatest achievement is being a husband and a father. I have a soon to be 11-year-old daughter who keeps us active. And then the free time, I enjoy running and traveling. I will be in Costa Rica the latter part of March, but we will have cross coverage for you at that point. Photography and skiing. I also believe in the role of education, and I'm currently working on my doctorate of education in organizational leadership, in conflict resolution and crisis management, with an emphasis on ethics at Abilene Christian University. Um, I want to highlight your attention that this course is challenging. We understand it. I'll be I will be honest with you. It has to be in order to equip you with the skills necessary to be effective advanced practice registered nurses. Um, this is a course that lays the foundation for future courses. I'll admit that there is a voluminous amount of information and reading, and at times the course may seem overwhelming. It's okay. I want you to hear that it's okay. I want you to hang in there. You will make it, and you'll be a better nurse in the end. In short, if you prepare and do the work, you will be fine. I realize that for most of you, this is your first course you will take in graduate school. The learning is steep, but enriching. I use technology, and I use a lot of it, to help supplement the material. And I implore you to read the syllabus carefully, reach out to me and your colleagues with questions, and keep an open mind. My professional pedagogy and educational philosophy is that I believe in the Dweck's open mindset theory, in its essence that true growth occurs in areas outside of our comfort zone. Um, I also view this course as an extended trip, and look to me as your tour guide and reference point. I am your facilitator. You'll be doing the bulk of the work, but as your facilitator and coach, I'm willing to help out however we may, but you have to do the work. And along the way, we will study the principles of cellular biology, genetics, immunology, and finally, we'll get into disease states such as disorders involving cancer and hematology, endocrine, and integumentary. Like I said before, there is no required formal meeting for this course. However, I'm holding a virtual meeting on this coming Wednesday, January the 16th from 7 to 8 p.m. using Adobe Connect. If for some reason Adobe Connect does not work, I have a couple of backup options. And if that doesn't work, we'll make something else work. And if you're unable to meet virtually, please feel free to reach out to schedule a meeting. I typically hold office hours on Monday, and those are virtual office hours. And as I note in the outline here, I am recording this video podcast covering the course syllabus, the due dates, and course expectations. High-level information that you need to know right now. Our course text is Huther and McCantz's Pathophysiology, the biological basis for diseases in adults and children. I currently am using the 7th edition. You can obtain either a hard or electronic copy. You can get a used copy that is fine. The caveat with the used copy is you want to make sure that you have access to the student supplemental services in case you want those. How are you going to be evaluated? You'll be evaluated using 4 course exams online, and we use a lockdown browser to maintain testing integrity. We're going to be doing discussion questions, and you'll be engaging with your fellow peers. I'll be honest with you, as a graduate student, until recently, I often questioned the purpose of discussion questions, but as I continued to teach and explore different electronic options, I find that the discussion questions really do help. And 2 assignments. You'll have 2 assignments, and we'll discuss those later in this podcast. As we transition, I want you to look at this image. It's on your course shell, and what you're seeing now. I think it says a lot about challenges we face in our life. As a runner, I see the running analogy here. I also see as a graduate student, and anything that we do to make us better. I cannot stress, most importantly, that I am glad to have you in this class, and I am willing to work with you. I believe in frequent and honest communication, and I think you will actually enjoy this course. I don't believe in busy work, and I believe that this course truly provides the foundation for further graduate nursing courses. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the syllabus. This is a 3-credit course. This class does not require any formal prerequisites. However, it is understood that you will have a foundation in undergraduate physical and nursing science courses. The course description is before you, and I won't belabor that point by reading it to you. However, I will call out two issues or themes. One is that while one could take each module and study the material in depth as a separate course, the goal is to provide the APRN student with a foundation to continue to build upon during subsequent courses. And this is a first of a two-part course. Nursing 618 Advanced Pathophysiology comes in the summer, or you can also take it next fall. Advanced Pathophysiology 618 is a 2-credit course and continues where we leave off with more focus on specific disease states. Because this is an online course, there are inherent technological skills that you need. Ability to navigate within PowerPoint and Microsoft Word is essential. Excel is nice, but not absolutely necessary. Email, I ask that you use your Winona email address for communication with me. This helps ensure that I receive it. It also helps ensure that you get a prompt response. I try to respond to all emails within 24 hours, Monday through Thursday, and likewise on the weekend, but sometimes it goes out to 48 hours. D2L and access to Adobe Acrobat or Adobe Reader to read our PDF files. And then whatever media player you prefer. Each module will have video podcast lectures, and I'm still tweaking with different ways of delivery. So if you see something that you like, let me know. If you see something that's not as helpful, let me know as well. If you are having any trouble struggling with basic technological skills, I suggest you go sign up for a free Lynda account, and this is free for all WSU students, and they'll walk you through Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. They also do a really good job for statistics, and I actually use the Lynda statistics component when I was doing advanced statistics and my doctorate program myself. So it's a nice program. Some people pay like $35 or $40 a month for this program, but this is something for you for free. Webcam, headset, and microphone is necessary. But I'm not going to tell you which ones you need, and most computers come with it. Get what you feel comfortable with, knowing that you'll be utilizing it throughout the program. There's really only two required textbooks. One is Huther McCance's Pathophysiology textbook, which we talked about. Once again, I'm using the 7th edition. An 8th edition is available, but I would say save your money and get the 7th edition. And then the publication manual from the American Psychological Association, the 6th edition. And this is our blueprint and our Bible for referencing, citations, and even some syntax issues within writing formal papers. And once again, you can get a hard copy, or you can get a paperback, or you can get an electronic copy. I have a paperback and an electronic copy, and I find them that I'm going to them countless times. Optional text and resources. The Clinical Pathophysiology Made Ridiculously Simple is a nice, quick reference. Evolve Elsevier. If you follow this link, it will take you to the site that you can register as a student. I have not tried it with a used textbook, but I've had students who've had pretty good success. The nice thing is it provides you additional test questions. It provides you complementary material to help reinforce the information. I also believe in keeping expenses light, and so I have found several textbooks that are open sourced. They're peer reviewed, yet they're free. And I recommend the chemistry, the biology, and the microbiology. And if you go click on this website, it will take you follow the prompts, you can download the books as a PDF, and that certainly is a good reference tool for you. Last semester, students were looking for some additional supplement material, and Khan Academy actually has some really good stuff. I would focus on the chemistry, the organic chemistry, and the biology. If you need the high school biology, that's fine, but I think the chemistry, organic chemistry, and biology provide a lot of open stuff or free stuff that's high quality educational material. Our Another website or resource for you is Open Osmosis at osmosis.org, and I have attached the link here. This is a paid website that features tutorials and educational reinforcement of core basic and medical sciences for advanced practice and physician students. And you can sign up for a free account that allows you access to limited information. Allows you to try before you buy and see if that's something that you would like. By no means am I requiring this. And then last but not least, for those who are new to APA or it's been a while, I highly suggest you bookmark the Purdue OWL. OWL stands for Online Writing Lab, and you can select the APA section, and that will provide you what you need to know. Now, the caveat is it doesn't replace everything that the APA manual provides, and the APA manual is the definitive source, but it does provide you the bulk of what you need by going to this website, and this website is free. The next part of the syllabus talks about technology and who to reach. Keep in mind that this online class does require downloading the D2L lockdown browser, and is outlined a little bit further here. If you haven't downloaded that already, I recommend you download that as soon as possible and get to know it. And then if you have trouble with it, I actually would refer you to the WSU tech support, and they can give you much more information than I can. Here's my contact information. Best way to reach me is my email. I have two virtual online presence. One is a virtual assistant, and you click on here, and you can it takes you to a website that allows you to book an appointment with me, so that you can you'll click on it, you'll fill out this information. It sends a electronic reference or link to me. I'll confirm the appointment, and then we can meet via Adobe Connect. It's a good way. If none of these times work, let me know, and we can see if we can't get something else working. Also, Adobe Connect, you click on this link, and it will take you to a secured virtual meeting space. So it's a virtual office. It allows you and I to see each other through web camera. We can connect, we can share files, and so it'll be literally like if you were coming into my office. My availability, my goal is to respond to your emails within 24 hours, exclusive of holiday and weekends. Feedback from assignments will be within 2 weeks of the due date, unless otherwise noted. How do you reach me? Like I said, email communication is preferred. And then there we can go to electronic meeting, we can go to phone meeting, we can make it work. I do encourage you and kindly ask that you use your Winona student email address when emailing me. We've had problems both in the previous course as well as in other courses with students using their personal email address and not transferring all the way over. And so it's always a good idea to use your Winona student email address. So let's pause. Let's ask, how should I reach out to you, or when should I reach out to you? Anytime you have a concern that's not been addressed in the syllabus, you need additional clarification, or you need an extension. Let's talk a little bit about an extension. Life happens. I get it. It's expected that you'll meet the course deadlines as you're getting those today, and you can mark your calendar accordingly. If you find yourself not able to meet the course deadlines, please reach out to me well before the deadline. And we can often work out extensions and other concerns if they're addressed sooner than later. Unless there's an extenuating circumstance or severe illness, family emergency, death in the family, you're required to ask for an extension before the due date. And once again, I also get it and understand that work and family, children's activities, they are important. They're not valid excuses for missed deadlines, because when we give the exams, I give you a window of opportunity. Plus, you also know ahead of time when the exam periods are and when due dates are. Our student learning outcomes I leave before you. Our topical outline. Um, this next first week, we'll do an introduction. Um, if you wish, you can get right into Module 1. Module 1 is going to be cellular biology. Module 2 will be genetic and genomics. Module 3 will be immunity. And then Module 4, we get into systems. And systems and disease states that we cover are oncologic, integumentary structure, function, and disorders, and endocrine structure, function, and disorders. Um, and in endocrine, we highlight not only the diabetes and metabolic syndrome, but we also talk about thyroid dysfunction. Attendance, course purpose. Like I said, there's no official class meeting for this course, but if you would like to meet with me, I'm more than willing to work something out. Late assignments and extra credit. Refer to the above paragraph that we just discussed about extensions and late assignments. I also reserve the right to offer extra credit assignments or additional opportunities for earned credit, depending on how the class is doing um, and whatnot. We all realize that this is hard material, and we want to make sure that you really are learning the material. I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried so much about your grade. I know that that is hard to understand. Most of us are A students coming in, and there will be times that we get less than an A. That's okay. Don't panic. Don't run to ads and drops. Stick with it. Reach out to me. Work with me. You'll be fine in the end. Academic integrity policy. We're all nurses. We're all very ethically driven. So I won't go into that further, but I will leave that for your reading. And a couple of links that you can click on if you're wishing to have more information. So now let's talk about grading and assignments. So grading is before you. 92 to 100 is an A, 84 to 92 is a B, 75 to 83 is a C, 66 to 74 is a D, and anything below 66 is an F. Students typically, while they struggle until they get the flow of the course, typically do just fine. So once again, I want you to focus on the material and not on trying to get an A. A's are great, but we're much more concerned about the material. Also, know that this is a heavy course because we're covering essentially 5 different sciences. I want to address from the get-go, yes, like I said before, each course could be held as a separate course within each section, but I want to lay down the foundation. So we're probably not going to go to the depth that I would like to, as simply because of time. Let's talk about the course outline. Once again, the reading material comes from Huther McCantz's textbook. You may find out on Amazon the 8th edition. You can use the 7th edition. And I've even had some students use the 6th edition. However, if you use the 6th edition, there is a chapter translation guide that is on the student website that will help. Also, keep in mind that while some of the information available pertains to pediatric patients, I'm coming from the perspective and will hold you accountable as far as testing on adult content only. So the week of January 14th, last day to drop with a refund is the 18th. Like I said, there's a course meeting that's optional, and it'll be on the 16th from 7 to 8 p.m. And at this point, I'm going to transition over to show the larger schedule that's a little bit easier to read. Everything that you need to have access to is in the course shell. January 16th, we will, from 7 to 8 p.m., we will have a virtual meet and greet. And this week, I ask you to do an introduction post. Once again, like I said, I don't believe in just having people do busy work. So if you do the introduction post, it's actually worth 5 bonus points on your lowest exam score at the end of the class. Now, in order to get those points, you need to follow the prompt, and I'll cover that in a bit, and also refer or reply to some of your students. What we trade off in having a virtual course is the flexibility and of coming and going as we please, and what we lose is that team cohesiveness. And in a course such as this, it's important to have friends and colleagues because this is your foundation course, and you will move throughout the program. And after a while, you'll go into your separate cohorts: the family nurse practitioner, the CNS track, the acute care nurse practitioner. And it's important that you guys establish those relationships early on. Plus, these are your fellow colleagues that you will most likely be working with. From the week of January 21st, now Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, Dr. King's Day, is the 21st of January, and that's a holiday. For the next 3 weeks, we will cover chapters 1 through 3, which is cellular biology. The week of January 21st, there will be a discussion question. The week of January 28th, there will be an assignment. And the week of February 4th, you will have your first exam. We transition from cellular biology to genetics, and we'll spend about 3 weeks in genetics, and that's chapters 4 through 6. And you'll have a second discussion question, a second assignment, and then the week of March 5th through March 8th, which is right before spring break, you will have your second exam. And then we have spring break the week of March 11th. And so from March 4th through the 25th, we spend our time in immunology. And with immune disorders, immune foundation, there's a lot of material. It's chapters 7 through 11. And so instead of giving you a third assignment, we just have 2 different discussion questions. The week of spring break, I have nothing due. That is your time. I recommend you break away and get some rest and relaxation. Um, as we transition into then hopefully spring in Minnesota, well, first part of April, we will transition to our fourth module, which will be our systems base. And it would be a couple of discussion questions, our third exam. And then that third exam covers module 3. And then we have a couple more discussion questions. And then our final exam is non-cumulative and covers just module 4. And you'll see some of these chapters here cover pediatric content. If it's pediatric content, specifically, you will not be tested on it. Now, there may be concepts that translate between peds and adult, but they're similar enough that you'll be just fine. But focus, really on the adult pathology when you're preparing for exams. And then that last week, the week of April 29th, I consider that a dead week. That's a wrap up. We tie up any loose ends. And then the final exam is May 2nd through May 6th, and you're able to do that at your leisure. The outline as far as the due date is both in the syllabus as well as a separate page. So let's talk about assignments. So exam 1 is worth 50 points and is worth 20% of your overall grade. The exam window will open on February 7th and will close on February 11th by 23:59. As long as you have accessed that exam by 11:59, you are fine. Caveat is I would recommend you take the exam sooner than later in case you run into problems. Because if you run into any technological problems, you have much more time to get that taken care of. And I'll work with you. Also, the sooner you get the exam done, that's another thing that gets removed off of your plate. Exam number 2 is also worth 50 points and 20% of your final grade. And that exam period is open from March 5th to March 8th. I try to put majority of the exams opening on Thursday and closing on Monday. However, because of spring break, I moved that back a couple of days, so it's kind of in the middle of the week. Exam number 3 is worth 50 points and 20% of your overall final grade. And that is online, opening on April the 11th and closing on tax day, April 15th. Discussion questions are also worth 50% or 50 points and 10% of your final exam grade. And the due dates are various, and the due dates are listed up here. And we'll talk about that in a little bit because there's a little nuance to that. And then there are 2 assignments. There's a cellular assignment worth 25 points and 5% of your exam grade, and that is due February 1st. And assignment number 2 is a genetic assignment worth 25 points, 5% of your course grade, due March 1st. And bonus points, for sure, if you do the introduction posting, and you respond to your peers, at least 2 peers, then I will give you 5 points. And those points get added to your lowest exam grade. I can't encourage you to do this enough. I can tell you that it actually helped students who were on a borderline going from, say, a B to an A. It really helped them. Feedback, my delivery to you is within 2 weeks unless otherwise noted. Exams can be taken on a laptop, a desktop, or an iPad, and the app for the Lockdown browser will need to be downloaded prior to taking the first exam. Lockdown browser app is available in the Apple iStore, as well as the TLT and within the D2L and the WSU homepage. So there's several links. If you're having trouble getting it to work or downloaded, please contact TLT sooner than later, as you'll need this for all exams. Now, all exams are to be taken individually and not in groups. And I do ask that this is a closed book exam. Now, each exam you're allotted 50 minutes. So you do with those 50 minutes what you need to do. If you go over the time limit, points may be deducted. Now, if you go over 7 minutes, that's fine. I get more concerned when we're looking at 10 plus minutes over. Now, if you have any learning challenges or profound test anxiety, let me know early and we can work with it. I have found that 50 minutes is more than doable for over 95% of the people. How do I prepare and what do I do for exams? I'm trying to make this as simple and clear as possible. Exam 1 will cover Module 1 for cellular biology. Exam 2 will cover Module 2, the genetics. Exam 3 will cover Module 3, immunology. And Exam 4 covers Module 4, disease states. Now, each exam must be taken in order to successfully complete this course. I've had students who previously had, say, a high A going into the final, and they decided not to take the final exam, and that dropped their grade. So you need to take all 4 exams. They're objective in nature, and they can include true false, matching, multiple choice, including K-type questions. And if you're not familiar with K-type questions, Google it. But in essence, it'll be like A, B, C, D, and D is all the above, none of the above, all but A, all but B, something of that nature. Fill in the blank or short answer questions. Now, no practice exams will be provided, but I will provide you with a blueprint for the exam. The final exam is not cumulative. In order to be successful on the modular exams, read the chapters, complete the worksheets, and review the lectures. I address that the exams are not meant to be tricky, but they are challenging as you're required to apply what you've studied in order to be successful. Memorization alone will not suffice. However, if you read the chapters, you complete the worksheets, which are provided. Now, the worksheets are actually the study guide to the text, and I actually provide those to you as well as the answer key. You don't need to buy that study guide. You can print the PDF and go. So you have the worksheets and you also have the answers. And you review the lectures, you'll be fine. In other words, if you do the work, you put in the necessary time, you will not have any issues with passing the course. Use your resources, including reaching out to me. Assignments. All assignments are due by the date posted above. Late assignments will have points deducted, 10 points per day, including weekends, unless you've had prior communication with me. All assignments should be done individually and not in groups, and must be submitted in a typed format using Times New Roman, size 10 font. APA says 12, but I'm asking for 10 or 12. Preferably 10 because it's not as large and allows you to get more information on one page. The requirements for this course include participating in online discussions and completing all of the assignments. Discussion description and detailed assignment descriptions are given below. And most important, I expect you to use and incorporate all the feedback as you grow throughout this course. This is how we learn. This is how we build upon previous material. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to be challenged. And communicate, work with me, and you'll be fine. Discussion questions. Post your initial response by Thursday midnight of the week that it's due, and respond to classmates by the following Monday. Participation in online discussions is mandatory. In order to actively participate in these discussions and to meet the university's attendance requirement for online courses, you need to log in at least 3 days each week. And this will help you stay up to date on the discussions and allow you to make more thoughtful and thought-provoking postings. I expect the discussion board to act as your connection to your peers, and I want you to carry on scholarly conversations on the topic provided and to engage in discourse which pushes you and your colleagues towards deeper understanding and broadening perspectives. Discussions would begin on Tuesday of each week and end on Monday of the following, but you should put your initial post by Thursday. And you're expected to submit your posting by Thursday, the midnight, and expected to respond responsively, thoughtfully, critically, and supportively to 2 or more of your classmates by the end of each week. And that would be by Monday evening. Now, I will call out multiple postings, not just a one-time comment is encouraged. I agree, nice job, in of itself doesn't cut it. I also provide some online environment and etiquette information for you guys that I will lead to you, read on your own behalf and own time. And then we have our grading policies outlined, and then the essentials of doctoral education for advanced nursing practice, and the essentials of master's education in nursing. So that will cover the syllabus. Let's briefly look at your course. I'm not going to go in as a student because the course, when I've taped this lecture, it's not been released yet. So what you need to see is here. This is your course table of contents or main page. Monday at midnight, the module 1 will open. There's some discussion questions. This tells you the kind of a running due date. And then you have the announcement sections. Welcome back, background information, which we've gone over. And then every week to 2 weeks, I have a highlighted general discussion or message to you all, and it's titled Before I Forget. I also will put in information that comes up sooner than later, depending on what's going on within the course. If you click on materials, if you go to content will show the introduction. Within the introduction, you have your course introduction, syllabus, and schedule. You have your course assignments and the study guide answers. The course assignment, the first one, you have a picture of a eukaryotic cell in front of you. I ask that you identify the 1 through 15 and then provide and describe the function of the structures. Typewrite or word process that and upload it as a document, and that will take care of that need. Course assignment number 2 covers genetics, and this one is actually fun. This one, not the other one isn't, but this one, as you draw out and describe the process of transcription and translation, what are the main steps, and you can hand draw this and then take a picture and upload it as a PDF. That's fine, but if you have a lot of narrative, I ask that you type the narrative out. Second question is define mitosis and meiosis and how they differ, and what's the process that occurs during each process. And once again, draw that out. And then here is a Punnett square for you to complete. And those are the 2 big assignments. And here's your study guide answers. These are a PDF that you can download. And this literally is the back of the chat or the back of the study guide book. And these are the answers. So you have that information available to you as well. And I broke that up into 2 parts in order to cover all the chapters. When we look at Module 1, each chapter will have a study guide, especially if you're being tested on it. Some of the chapters I don't put a study guide, and that's because you're not being tested on that material. Chapter 1, there is a PowerPoint presentation, and then there is a video podcast. You click on that link, and that brings you to chapter 1. And then here is what you'll find. So if you're doing the coursework by reading the chapters, by looking at the PowerPoint presentation, and listening to the podcast lecture, because what I try to do is I try to supplement clinical relevant information. Case examples that we're seeing both at the Mayo Clinic and within the Twin Cities, trends we're seeing nationally, and we really try to tie it in, and I make it so that it is relevant to what you're doing now as a nurse at the bedside, but also what you're doing in school. Now, intentionally, I have put control parameters on modules 2, 3, and 4. And with module 2 not opening to February 4th, module 3 not opening to February 25th, and module 4 not opening till March 18th. However, I do that for 2 reasons. One, I want to keep all of us together initially. And 2, help to decrease the level of anxiety. As a runner, one of the things I focus on, and when I'm working with other runners, I tell them, and I tell myself, you don't have another segment that you have to worry about. You just need to worry about the segment that you're running now, and run the race before you. So here, focus on module 1. There will be plenty of time for module 2, module 3, module 4. In the event that there's an overwhelming majority that is asking to move ahead a little faster, we can reconsider those options. That is about it for now. I appreciate you hanging with me. Before I close, I want to show how you can get into the discussion questions. Each one has an area. So like the first one is an introduction. So 5 bonus points added to the lowest exam grade at the end of the semester. Do the following. Introduce yourself briefly. Include your name, current clinical role. Do you work in the labor and delivery? Are you an emergency nurse, ICU nurse, med-surg nurse? Do you work in administration, whatnot? What type of program are you in or looking to be in? What are you most interested in learning, and what are you most concerned about? And what still has you noodling? What has you concerned? Let's talk about it, because if you have a concern, I am sure it's out there as well. And then we're a cohesive group. We're going to be spending a lot of time with each other over the next couple of years. So if you wish, please tell me one fun fact about you that you'd like to share. And then module 1, and once again, respond to 2 of your classmates. Let's keep that thread going. Module 1, is only one question. It's 2 parts. and that question is worth 6.5 points. Two-part question. You may use any resource, including your textbook, and make sure that you're using appropriate APA format. Number one, describe the process of protein development and formation. And two, how can water-soluble substances, many of which are critical to our cells, get into or out of our cells? And additionally, what lists a couple of differences between active and passive transport and provide specific examples of active and passive transport and what's the mechanism of action in each. And once again, we'll do the same thing for Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. So if you have any questions, reach out to me. I think that this course we will find, while it is challenging, I hope is a great foundation course for you. And know that I am available. So until that time, we will talk to each other. Have a good night.